enigmatic Pharaoh Khamudi, a dive into the final ruler of the Hyksos Dynasty. The story of ancient Egypt is filled with legendary figures, towering pharaohs, sprawling pyramids, and tales of power, war, and resilience. Among these tales lies the curious and enigmatic figure of Pharaoh Khamudi, the last ruler of the 15th dynasty during the period of Hyksos rule. This era, often overlooked, played a vital role in shaping Egypt's later history. Though the Old Kingdom and Middle Kingdom are often seen as Egypt's glorious peaks, the tumultuous time of the Hyksos occupation left undeniable marks. In this extended exploration of Khamudi's reign, we will dive into his origins, his struggles against Theban forces, and the larger narrative of the Hyksos people. While history leaves us with only fragmented pieces, the allure of Khamudi's reign invites speculation, storytelling, and reflection on how his rule defined the turning point of ancient Egyptian power. Who were the Hyksos? The context for Khamudi's reign. To understand Pharaoh Khamudi, we must first step back and look at the Hyksos. The word Hyksos is derived from the ancient Egyptian phrase Hyksos, which translates to rulers of foreign lands. These people were believed to have been from the regions of Canaan, the Levant, and other Semitic territories. Their infiltration and eventual dominance over parts of Egypt marked a complex and disruptive era. The Hyksos arrived in Egypt not through war, but rather through gradual migration, trade, and settlement. By the time they consolidated power in the Nile Delta, they had established their rule over Lower Egypt, northern Egypt. The capital of the Hyksos was Avaris, modern-day Tel El Dabeh, a thriving city that blended Egyptian traditions with foreign influences. For decades, the Hyksos ruled Egypt's north while southern Egypt remained under Theban control. This division of power created ongoing tensions, with both sides vying for dominance. It was against this backdrop that Khamudi rose to power, likely succeeding his predecessor, Apophis. Pharaoh Khamudi, the last Hyksos ruler. The ascension to power. Khamudi's reign began as Egypt's political landscape was undergoing immense upheaval. He ruled from Avaris, the cultural and military heart of the Hyksos regime. Although we lack specific details about how Khamudi ascended the throne, historians speculate that he inherited the kingdom through succession, possibly related to King Apipi, who reigned before him. Apipi had been a strong ruler, famous for his clashes with the Thebans under the leadership of Seqenenretau, a Theban king. When Khamudi assumed power, the Thebans were growing bolder. The struggle between the north, Hyksos, and the south, Thebans, had reached its breaking point. Khamudi's position was far from secure. His reign was fraught with political and military challenges, as the Theban dynasty began to consolidate power under leaders like Ahmose and, eventually, Ahmose I. The final conflict, Khamudi versus the Thebans. The central narrative of Khamudi's reign revolves around the war between the Hyksos and the rising Theban power. For years, the Thebans had fought to reclaim Egypt's northern territories, and by the time of Khamudi's rule, their military campaigns had become increasingly organized and aggressive. Ahmose campaign. The first major blow to Khamudi's rule came during the campaigns of Ahmose, a Theban king who was determined to rid Egypt of the Hyksos. Ahmose launched bold attacks against Hyksos territories, pushing his armies northward and capturing key strongholds. According to the Ahmose Stela, an important historical record, Ahmose boasted about his victories and mocked the Hyksos, referring to their foreign ways as unworthy of Egypt. Ahmose's strikes reached close to Avaris, shaking the Hyksos kingdom to its core. However, he did not manage to fully overthrow Khamudi, leaving the task to his successor, Ahmose I. Ahmose I, the end of Khamudi's reign. Ahmose I, a young and ambitious Theban king, continued the fight against the Hyksos after Ahmose's death. Ahmose's military strategy was systematic and relentless. He launched siege after siege, gradually closing in on Avaris, the last bastion of Hyksos power. Khamudi, facing immense pressure, attempted to defend his city and maintain control over his fractured kingdom. The details of Khamudi's final days are scarce, but historians agree that the decisive blow came when Ahmose I captured Avaris. The fall of the Hyksos capital marked not only the end of Khamudi's reign, but also the end of the 15th dynasty. The Hyksos rulers were either killed, expelled, or assimilated into Egyptian society. Ahmose's victory was so significant that it marked the beginning of the New Kingdom, a period of reunification and prosperity for Egypt. Life and avarice during Khamudi's rule. While war dominates the narrative of Khamudi's reign, the city of Avaris provides a fascinating glimpse into Hyksos culture and life under their rule. Avaris was a cosmopolitan city where Egyptian traditions mixed with foreign customs, architecture, and innovations. During Khamudi's time, Avaris boasted impressive architectural structures, including temples, palaces, and fortifications. The Hyksos introduced several innovations to Egypt, including the horse-drawn chariot, which revolutionized warfare. Khamudi likely relied heavily on these advancements to defend Avaris against the Theban armies. Archaeological excavations at Avaris reveal evidence of Canaanite influences, including pottery, burial practices, and religious artifacts. These findings suggest that Khamudi's court was a melting pot of cultures, where Hyksos traditions coexisted with Egyptian rituals. Economic strength and trade. Avaris was strategically located in the Nile Delta, making it a hub for trade between Egypt and the surrounding regions. Under Khamudi, the city likely maintained its economic strength through commerce in goods such as gold, papyrus, and exotic imports from the Levant. However, as the Thebans gained ground, these trade routes would have been increasingly threatened. Anecdotes and speculations about Khamudi. While historical records on Khamudi are limited, several anecdotes and speculations have emerged about his life and legacy. The desperation of the last pharaoh. One intriguing speculation is that Khamudi may have sought alliances with other foreign powers to resist the Theban advances. Some historians propose that he sent emissaries to Canaanite cities or other territories in a bid for military support. However, no definitive evidence of such alliances has been discovered. The fall of Avaris. A fierce battle? Another compelling theory revolves around the fall of Avaris. Was it a prolonged siege, or did Khamudi's defenses crumble quickly under the might of Ahmose's forces? Some accounts suggest that the battle for Avaris was particularly brutal, with heavy casualties on both sides. The emotional toll of witnessing the collapse of his kingdom must have weighed heavily on Khamudi in his final moments as ruler. Khamudi's legacy, the end of an era. Pharaoh Khamudi's reign marked the end of the Hyksos' presence in Egypt, but his legacy is far more nuanced than that of a defeated king. The Hyksos brought lasting changes to Egypt, including military innovations like the chariot and composite bow, as well as cultural exchanges that enriched Egyptian society. The defeat of Khamudi and the fall of the 15th dynasty set the stage for the reunification of Egypt under Ahmose I. The New Kingdom, which followed, became one of the most prosperous and powerful eras in ancient Egyptian history. In this sense, Khamudi's downfall was the catalyst for a new chapter of Egyptian greatness. Conclusion. The pharaoh lost to time. Pharaoh Khamudi remains one of ancient Egypt's most enigmatic figures. As the last ruler of the Hyksos, he stood at the crossroads of Egyptian history, a ruler caught between a fading dynasty and the resurgence of Theban power. Though his reign ended in defeat, Khamudi's story offers valuable insights into a transformative period in Egypt's past. From the bustling streets of Avaris to the clash of chariots on the battlefield, Khamudi's legacy lives on as a testament to the resilience and complexity of ancient civilizations. While history may not have immortalized him as a great conqueror, his role as the final Hyksos pharaoh ensures that his name will forever echo in the annals of time.